What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV. So even though this is a video that you could put in the political category, this is not a partisan video. By that I mean I'm not taking sides on any issue. This is, if anything, a bipartisan criticism of both sides on an issue that I've noticed is a big problem, and I think we'll all agree on this one. So, Dianne Feinstein, who has been the senator I think she's been a senator since 1992 in California. At least four of her Democratic colleagues, at least four of her fellow colleagues in the Senate, have spoken anonymously that they feel that it's time for her to retire. Okay? And they base this upon the fact that her cognitive skills, her cognitive ability is diminishing rapidly. Um, they talk about instances where she forgets people that she has known for years. They've seen instances where she forgets people. She forgets their names, where they're from, people that she's known for years. They have to reintroduce themselves to her. Um, they talk about how most of the work is now being done by her staff and that she's not engaged. And this is a stark contrast to the Dianne Feinstein of old, the Dianne Feinstein of old that was an intellectual, was a very active senator, and was very engaged in the affairs of the Senate on a daily basis. And clearly, she is suffering from some sort of age-related mental decline, whether it's dementia, maybe Alzheimer's, who knows? But supposedly she's been in this decline for a couple of years, and it's gotten really bad to the point where they hope that someone can talk her out of running for reelection in 2024 when she would be, what, 91 years old? And this is a problem that I see in Washington. I'm all for older people being able to serve and do things well into their 70s and 80s. You know, I'm not one of these persons that think that older people should just retire and stay out of the way and some dumb shit like that. But as long as you are healthy, as long as you are mentally sound and able to do the job, you should be able to work as long as you want to. But there is something that needs to be said. And that is, in my opinion, I think that the baby boomer generation is very selfish. Okay? I think that they're very selfish, and a lot of their selfishness has rubbed off on subsequent generations. It's gotten worse. I'll give you an example I'm talking about. It was never intended for those who served in government to make these lifetime appointments. With the exception of the Supreme Court appointments, these were not meant to be lifetime appointments. At best, 2 to 3 terms, and then a rollover. What has happened is you have people who are in place now who essentially have lifetime appointments to positions of power and influence, even when they are personally far past their primes. It has gotten much harder for long-term incumbents to be kicked out of office. It used to happen with some frequency. It doesn't happen often now. I think incumbents generally are reelected somewhere around, on average, 98% of the time. So it doesn't happen often, let alone someone who's been in office for 30, 40 plus years. The life expectancy at the turn of the 20th century was around 47 years of age. And at least back then, during the 20th century, after a generation has served its time, after they have served their time in government, have been head of government, there was a time period when you said to yourself, okay, it's time for the next generation to take over gradually. John F. Kennedy said in his 1961 inaugural, the torch has been passed to a new generation of Americans, those born in this century. Eisenhower, his predecessor, had been born in 1890, Kennedy in 1917. Kennedy had been part of the World War II generation, only 43 years of age when he took office. Now, by 1993, George H.W. Bush, then age 68, was the last president to serve that fought in World War II. 30 years later, their generation bowed out. Well, here we have the baby boomers. Bill Clinton was a baby boomer, is still a baby boomer. They've been in power for 30 years and they don't want to give it up. Think about it. The one president who was not really part of that generation, technically you could say George H.W., but you know, they were born right after a year after, so I consider them. Well, actually, they were baby boomers. They're baby boomers. Barack Obama, right on the edge of the end of the baby boom generation, born in the '60s, he comes into power. But ever since then, we've had all of these people running who are substantially older. Hillary Clinton, she's in her 70s. It hasn't been ruled out that she's not going to run again. Donald Trump, he's the front runner. He's what, 70? How old is he now? 75? Okay, he'll be 76 this year. Joe Biden will turn 80 this year, I believe. Um, at some point, we gotta get some new blood, man. We just had a Senate, what was a representative, what was his name? Don Young. He died. He died in office. He was 88 years old. Dianne Feinstein, she's 88, will be 89. Um, Bernie Sanders, he's in his 80s. You have a lot of these people. Elizabeth Warren, she's in her 70s. You have a lot of people who are holding on to power, who are past their prime and won't let go. It's time to let your wrinkled, prune, fucking looking hand off the wheel and let a younger generation take over in Washington. You got Mitch McConnell, as LB calls it, with the burnt off jack off hand. He's what, 80? I mean, you got all of these old fossils running our government. You wonder why everything is in such fucking disarray. This is not a knock on older people. I'm not knocking anybody that's listening to my channel that's older. That's not it. But damn, this is bound to happen. We got all these people in government who are getting older and older and older. Age-related illnesses, age-related, health problems are going to start being a problem. I mean, do we really want to see a repeat of Strom Thurmond or Harry Byrd? Not Harry Byrd, Robert Byrd, when he could barely pick his head up off the goddamn desk, off the Senate desk, pushing Strom Thurmond in a wheelchair, and they kept sending him back to fucking Congress, the Senate, excuse me. I don't know, man. This is what people keep electing on both sides. And we see Joe Biden having memory lapses. We see Donald Trump having memory lapses. But we still vote these motherfuckers in anyway. But anyway, tell me what you guys think.